So let's face it, there are tons of resources out there on product photography, sharing tips, tricks, hacks, so on. And I mean, I share some of those tips, tricks, and hacks. So, I'm part of that world. But a lot of these resources are just sharing the same tips over and over. And you're probably reading these saying, well, tell me something new because I'm still not getting the results I want. Still not getting clicks, or those clicks aren't converting. So, what's going on? Or you could be thinking, hey, my photos really just haven't improved very much over the years. Yeah, I know some of you have been at this for a long time and you're still saying, well, they're better than they were when I first started, but they're still not that great. So, something is wrong. So, I want to help you out and dive a little bit deeper because those resources are just touching the surface. And there are some really important things that I've learned that I think you need to be implementing, you need to be doing to really help you see the progress and get really great photos of your crafts. So, if you want to know what some of those not so talked about tips are that can really accelerate your results, keep watching. And before we get into everything, first, I just want to say hello. My name is Imelda Jimena Samar, and I'm a product photography coach helping handmade sellers learn how to shoot product photos that sell online. And you're probably aware that your product photos are incredibly important to selling online. And I know a lot of you are struggling with getting views and getting sales. And a lot of that is tied to your images. So I'm really happy that you're here. To me, watching this is taking that step into saying, okay, I'm really committed to learning how to improve my photos because I really want to sell my work online. And that's my mission. I really want to help you sell your work online. I want everybody to see your work. So what better way than having really beautiful photos? But getting there takes some time. It's definitely a journey and it's a never ending path you kind of need to take as a maker. So I hope some of these tips will really help. These tips, honestly, I think are probably going to give you the kick in the pants that you need. So just kind of be prepared. You're probably gonna like roll your eyes at me. You're probably going to say, oh gosh, like, yeah, I need to be doing that. Like, if I really want to get the results I want, I really need to, apply these tips. So I encourage you to just come with an open mind, and take some notes, write some of these things down, and hopefully this will really help you improve your product photos. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this first tip is probably my favorite that I'm going to be sharing with you. So make sure you listen up here. So the first tip is to stop rushing to take product photos. Now, this actually came out of a session that I was having with a client privately. And when I realized that they were just sort of rushing to take product photos, I was thinking, you know what? That's not good. That's not going to give them the results that they want. They're not going to be able to apply and really learn what I'm showing with them to get really great photos. And I thought, I don't think this is just them. I think a lot of makers do this because I hear you guys talking about how frustrated you are, that it's so time consuming, you're wasting all this time, and you end up with photos you don't like, and then you say, oh my gosh, like, I'm never gonna get this, I'm not good at photography, I'm like horrible at this, I don't understand how other people do it, like, I'm just not good at it. And that is not the truth. A lot of you are just trying to get it over and done with. And the problem with that is when you are trying to rush through it, you get sloppy, you overlook things, you make mistakes, you try and force things. You're just like not thinking about what you're doing, right? We're just sort of trying to think about what's the end result. Oh, I'm done with my photos. You're not thinking about what you're doing. And when you're not thinking about what you're doing, you're probably not going to get the results that you want. So that's why you need to slow down. You need to slow down. You need to give yourself the space and the time to process what you're doing. Because the thing about product photography and, actually just in general in photography, there's a saying that says, get it right in the camera. Something along those lines. And that means to do your best to get the best shot before you take a picture. And a lot of you aren't thinking about what you're doing before you take a picture. You're just pointing and shooting, right? So that is not going to get you the results that you want. You're not going to see the improvements in your photos when you're just sort of, trying to get through it as quick as possible. So when you slow down, you think through what you're doing. You think about what's going on behind your product. You think about what you can do to improve your lighting. Is your lighting better this way, or is it better this other way? Could you adjust where your props are? Could you adjust the framing of your camera so you can get a better shot? These are things I think about, and I encourage my clients to think about when they are taking photos, because when you do that, you're going to be so much happier with your end results. And you'll probably take less photos, but you'll get better photos than if you were just taking a ton, right? We're talking about quality over quantity. So slow down, think through what you're doing before you take a picture, and I guarantee you're going to be happier with your results. And if you are just like saying, hey, I need some help with some tips to make the process a little bit easier, I did make a video where I talk about some great ways you can save time, make the process of photographing your work a lot quicker and a lot easier. So I'll make sure to link that below and probably link that up somewhere up here. So make sure you check it out. So one of the biggest issues I see a lot of makers having when it comes to taking product photos is you're not taking the time to experiment and practice. So, this goes in hand with the previous tip I shared with you about, slowing down and really thinking through what you're doing. And that means creating space in your week to just practice and have fun and experiment without the pressure of trying to get certain shots so you can upload a product or send to somebody or something. So I encourage you to just have some fun. Don't stress over how you need to get a certain type of photo. I want you to give yourself the space to try new things. So that might mean, playing with your lighting and really starting to figure out, well, how does this lighting work? What makes my photo look better? What makes it look worse? Try different backgrounds and see, is there actually a better background to use than what I'm using currently? Give yourself the space to just see what happens. And when you do this, this is when you really start to understand what works and doesn't work. Because I think right now you're not really sure why things are not working. And that's totally normal. But when you slow down and you give yourself the ability to observe and really start thinking critically about, what am I doing? Why is this not working? Let me try this out instead and see if that works. That is when you really start making a lot of progress and see your photos get better. Because when you understand what isn't helping your product photos look better, you start to then realize what does. Even if it's like a little bit, that's still better than, doing the same thing over and over that isn't giving you the results that you want. So hopefully over time, you'll start to learn, oh, this is actually helping my photos look better. Let me keep focusing on that and stop doing the things that don't make my photos look better. And, try things out. If you have a light box, which I really despise light boxes, but that's another video, I would say ditch it. Ditch it right now, experiment with natural light, or maybe you can try using artificial light, if that's something you're looking to explore. But just, do something different. I really encourage you. Guys are doing the same thing over and over, and you're like, I don't like my results. Do something different, please. So yeah, spend 30 to 60 minutes a week, just playing, just trying something new. See what happens. And I guarantee, in a month or two, you're going to make a lot more progress and see better photos. So try this out, and remember, don't be so hard on yourself. This takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, unless you're going to pay somebody to do your product photos, then maybe it feels like it happens overnight. But if you're DIYing your photos, this is going to take time. So just really be patient with yourself, and just give yourself the space to try something new and to practice. So we got to talk about lighting. Okay, we need to talk about lighting, because the truth is, a lot of you don't understand how light works and you're overlooking it, and that's a problem. Lighting is a huge pain point, I know, for a lot of you, and it was a struggle for me. But it is definitely an area you can understand, you can figure out, and it'll be a game changer. It'll make your product photos look so much better when you figure out the lighting. And with that, this means probably having to ditch those pop-up light boxes that I know a lot of you have spent money on and struggle with, or don't like how your photos look. And the reason is because, newsflash, there is no one size fits all when it comes to product photography. If you were to talk to a professional, they would tell you that every time they photograph different products, they need to have different light setups depending on the kind of look that they're going for and depending on the type of product. Because if you think about it, if you are trying to photograph a glass vase and a jewelry box that's made out of wood, light's gonna go right through that glass vase versus the wooden jewelry box. And that's something you have to pay attention to. You have to have a different light setup depending on your product, which is kind of annoying, you know, depending if you create or sell different types of products. If you sell like one type of product, well, you're probably pretty good. You can get away with, like, you know, just one or two different setups. But if you have different products and they have different finishes and so on, you need to make adjustments for that. And you know, that's not the best news, but you know, it's the reality. So just with everything I was just talking about, you know, take time to practice, take time to experiment, slow down and think through what you're doing, and understand what's making your product photos look better or worse when it comes to lighting. And I've also created a couple of videos and blog posts that I think can be really helpful. One, I walk you through several exercises that you can try out to better understand how light works, and you know, maybe even find like a good spot to photograph your work at home or wherever you want to take product photos. And another video and blog post that I talk about tools that I use to better photograph my products, and especially some tools that can really help with lighting and controlling how much light you're getting when you're taking photos. So I really encourage you to check that out. Make sure you check out the description below. But yeah, I encourage you to spend time just practicing and diving into lighting and understanding what makes your products look better or worse when it comes to, you know, the distance, the type of lighting, you know, how soft or harsh your lighting is, and so on. So make sure you check that out, because it is going to dramatically change how your product photos look. So we definitely need to be talking about your camera, because one of the biggest problems I see a lot of you doing when it comes to taking product photos is you are shooting in auto mode. And the problem with that is that a lot of you will then say, why do the colors look weird? Why are some of my photos looking too dark? Or why are they too bright? They keep coming out different every time I take photos. And the problem is because you're shooting on auto mode. So the solution there is to shoot on manual mode. Manual mode allows you to have full control over what the settings are on your camera. And this even goes if you are using your smartphone, which yes, you can get really great photos with your smartphone, but you need to get out of auto mode. This means you need to adjust your white balance so you can correct the color imbalances. This means you need to adjust your f-stops if you're using a, you know, DSLR camera, or you know, an actual camera with lenses and everything. But you need to be able to adjust your shutter speed, your ISO, and so on, because that will help fix a lot of the problems that you keep running into. And if you are using your smartphone to take product photos and that sounds really overwhelming and really just too much for you, I actually created a great PDF download for you where I walk you through how to adjust these settings on your camera app on your phone. And if you don't have the flexibility to adjust some of these settings, I share with you what some apps are that you can control the settings that you can download and apply these tips. So if you want to try that out, make sure you check the link in the description below and download the PDF, because I think it'll really, really help you out. So make sure that you adjust those settings, play around with them, experiment, and it'll really help with how your products come out, I promise you. So to quickly recap this video, I encourage you to really slow down when it comes to taking product photos. Think through what you're doing and give yourself the time to just like really think through what adjustments you need to make to take better photos. The next thing is to experiment and practice. Dedicate time to just playing without the pressure of having to get certain results, and you'll start to really understand what improves your photos and helps speed up the process, which, hello, whatever we can do in a shorter amount of time and get really great results, to me is like totally worth it. And the next thing is just to really understand lighting and your camera and have full control over those particular settings. Because when you get the lighting and the camera right, I mean, it can really make your photos look amazing. And I really want that for you, because your photos are incredibly important to selling online. And I want customers to see the beauty and the quality of your handmade products and want to buy them. So investing time, learning how to take product photos is going to be so helpful for your business and help you generate more sales and the income that you're looking for. So I really hope that these tips really helped you out. Comment below, let me know what your questions are, any ahas. Let me know if you're you've made some of these mistakes, and what steps that you're going to do to help improve your photos. And make sure you check out my website and the description below for more resources and more videos that can really help you accelerate your product photos. And make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.